And gentlemen, welcome back once again to the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14, the final match of the online portion for Europe. This is Team EnVyUS versus ex-TSM, vying for that final spot at the LAN in Minsk just over a month from now. Ex-TSM have a one-map advantage, so we're going to get started with the knife round right now, guys, in our map number 2, which is going to be Train. My name is Blue. Joining me here is Metas this evening. So, Metas, let's talk a little bit about map 2.
Yeah, now coming into this, a lot of you have been asking in chat who won the first map. It was ex-TSM. This is their choice of map as well. And when it comes to stats, I've got to say this definitely favours ex-TSM in the sense that the last 3 games that EnVyUS have played, they've lost on Train. So that's Dignitas, they got beat 16-9 off. They lost 16-11 against Titan, 16-12 against Na'Vi. And the game before that, they narrowly beat Vexed in an overtime 21-18. And Vexed aren't that good on Train themselves. Not a top-tier team, I think it's safe to say, no disrespect to them. So EnVyUS do struggle somewhat on this map, whereas the last 2 matches that ex-TSM have played on this over the last week, they've won both of them pretty convincingly. So I feel like TSM on paper probably favourites here, but it's Envy, you never quite know.
It's been that like end of year struggle for Envy, just because of the fact that apparently we're reloading into the map. Just because of the fact that like Envy again, they take this break after the major, if I remember correctly, and then when they come back, they like not up to par. But then the problem for them is that like it's almost the end of the year, so I imagine what's going through their heads right now is that like, well, like okay, it's like the end of the year, we're gonna have another break coming up as soon as we like literally if they lose this match, they're done for the year, like until like probably early February, early January, or late January, I should say. So considering that, I imagine the team isn't like as up to par as they should be. But for the guys on ex-TSM, they've been struggling a lot quite recently, so I imagine they sort of have something to prove in their recent matchups, and that's why we're seeing some of these players that we don't normally see step up to the plate doing extremely well, like Zipex and whatnot at the LAN. He was doing a really great job of just impacting frags all over the place, and there was a certain match, I can't remember exactly who they were playing against, but he like almost single-handedly saved that team from being eliminated in that portion of it. So with those performances like that, if they continue here in the second map, then ex-TSM is looking likely to pick up that second slot at the LAN, or that last slot at the LAN, I should say.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. You know, we haven't necessarily touched on this too much, but as you said, this is the last matchup of the online portion. The next will be at the LAN stages, so we are going to lose either ex-TSM or EnVyUS, which itself is insane. Like 2 of the top tier teams, 2 of the top 5 teams, I think a lot of people would agree with. So that in itself is pretty sad. But honestly, the way that EnVyUS performed in Inferno, I don't know about you, actually, but that really shocked me. They got absolutely wrecked. It wasn't even close.
The CT side, just like we said before, the CT side, they just never had a chance, unfortunately, because at the thing with Envy is Envy just have a really like straightforward playstyle on their T side. They just go right at it for most of these rounds here. They weren't really doing anything super tactical until the very end when they tried to adapt, because ex-TSM had successfully sort of countered them out towards the end of that half. But by the time they tried to do this, they already had their opponents having a very good lead up against them, and then all their attempts to innovate just never really worked out very well at all. So we just saw TSM shutting down the later portions of that first half. They had a 10-5 advantage, and then they lose the pistol there, so it's already up to 13-5, and unfortunately a loss of just one single gun round was basically enough for ex-TSM to close the map there. So the members of EnVyUS never even get a chance on their CT side, and their T side, unfortunately, just way too one-dimensional to gain a victory against the members of ex-TSM.
Yeah, and the issue here as well as I feel on Train on T side, they could fall into the same kind of issues as well, you know. If they're going to be effectively coming into this one on the T side and they can't get things done, they can't mix things up, and they just go for the raw entry fragging, ex-TSM are the kind of team that can run with double ups. They can just sit back and wait for you and basically say, come at us, bros, and just destroy you. So it's one of those kind of situations where I'm a bit worried for EnVyUS here going through into Train. I've already discussed the fact that their previous results in the last couple of weeks haven't been phenomenal. And coming into this one, I feel the pistol round's super important. But again, it's ex-TSM. Their pistol rounds are crazy good.
There is a mistake on the overlay, by the way, guys. The admin set the server config or the server variable wrong. It is not EnVyUS leading 1-0 right now. It should be the other way around. So just note that. Obviously, for any who are not already aware, we said it a couple times. It's ex-TSM that have the lead. It also, as a bigger warning, if you do not want the new Star Wars movie spoiled, just close the Twitch chat, because we are not going to be able to admin that. I am already pissed off that it's been spoiled for me, but...
Me too. I was watching, I was reading, I was interacting, and I got like 7 spoilers. I was like, okay, screw this, I'm done. That being said, though, we are live into the first round here on Train, and it's dupreeh and kajunb who are going to town. Happy and NBK, all that remains, scratch that. It's just NBK back on the trains. He'll be pushing right now past green. The bomb is there in front of him, but dupreeh is too. And just as I was saying that EnVyUS need a good start, well, they get absolutely demolished.
Yeah, so ex-TSM get themselves off to a good start again, and that's not a very good prospect at all. The other problem here, too, for EnVyUS Yeah, that I didn't even touch on as of yet is, again, they're starting off on T side here on train, which is going to have even, in my eye, just because of the way EnVyUS play their T side, it's going to have even worse prospects than it did back on Inferno, because to a certain degree, the way they were playing their T side on Inferno works when it's applied properly, but here, I just don't really feel that. They really need to try and innovate their T side here, otherwise ex-TSM are just going to continuously shut things down. We'll be looking at a huge lead again. That's going to become a problem. We have to hope that gets adjusted once they get guns into their hands on the 4th round.
Yeah, EnVyUS typically bully a lot of their enemies when they're on the T side. You know, they're going to be buying up a lot. They're going to be upgrading pistols, landing those sexy one-taps, etc. But ex-TSM are a team that can stand, you know, tall in the center of the ring and exchange blows. You know, haymakers, uppercuts, all sorts. So I don't think that ex-TSM are the kind of team that can be bullied from these kind of strats from EnVyUS. And you can see them playing passive, looking for these entries, looking for these cheeky frags, and they're just getting destroyed. KennyS is the only player that's started to step up for his team, but he's been tagged down. karrigan lands the scout. And now it's all on the aforementioned Tech 9 on KennyS, and he gets picked off as he tries to move. But 3 frags isn't too terrible from EnVyUS. They did, however, commit to that round themselves and didn't get a bomb plant.
Yeah, I guess it's a CT side that's not bad at all, especially considering you probably dropped at least 1 rifle there, I imagine. One was picked back up by the members of ex-TSM at the end of it, so I don't think they lose. I think they only end up losing 1 at the end of it. The other players had invested into a scout along with a with an MP9, if I was looking at it correctly. So they're not going to lose all that much, and they will invest for it. So it'll leave them low on funds. However, EnVyUS, actually, interestingly enough, going for their heavy investment in this 3rd round too. They're just going to go right for it here. We see Deagle armor buy-ups and Tech 9 armor buy-ups across the board, so these guys are going to take another risk for it and see if it plays out well for them. But look at dupreeh's position. He actually just gave himself away with that jump, so he is not going to be able to go upside the ladder there anytime soon. He was hoping they would jump down, but it's definitely going to be an inside take. Towards it right now. Keo finds it first kill, but bomb's now down as Kenny just rolls right into that site. And they have to commit to this now. The rotation's going to come back in. Xyp9x falls back, gives them some room to breathe as he gets the intel, but he's also taking a lot of damage. He's down at 3 HP, but look at his movement, too. Doing a great job. karrigan kills him with the nade, and we see him picking up a 2nd kill, too, over there on Apex. It's already just down to NBK, and he hasn't even retrieved the bomb as of yet. He's stuck over here as well in the back B halls.
And that bomb drop was brutal. I'm not sure if Kenny realized it or not, or he had to make that split-second decision and he committed to the site. But either way, NBK's left, does have the Kevlar, the M4 in hand as well. Going to come around this corner, does land the headshot. Well, actually, just the body shot at the end from dupreeh, but it wasn't clean in the sense that he's down to 31 HP now. And here comes the push. As the CT's trying to hold on to this site, karrigan spots the player of NBK, still at 31 HP, 30 seconds left of the timer as well. Doesn't have any flashes or anything to get himself out. He gets picked off.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot he's going to be able to do. As you said, he doesn't have flashes or anything, so there's no clean route to get himself out of upper. So he's basically just has to go out there and make a choice as to whether he saves and potentially loses all his money or just die and go for the reset in the next round. EnVyUS, though, because they did force on that 3rd round, they have to save here on the number 4. So it's still no gun run as of yet for EnVyUS. He's going to have to come on round number 5 instead.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we were discussing before as well, Bully, that their T-side could really struggle here against ex-TSM, who have now got themselves in a very stable position. AWP 4, M4s backing that up with grenades, with fuse kits as well. And EnVyUS just hoping that one of these Deagles in the hands of Apex or NBK can open up things nicely, maybe try and get a weapon back. But look at that, kajunb playing with close angle. The smoke is just screening him off right now. Does Apex call this? Does he realize that someone's there? There comes another smoke as well. And so far, so good for ex-TSM. EnVyUS, though, have plenty of time to play with. They just need to land those one-taps. That's it. They can land the one-taps, and the round is doable for them.
They're holding back for now. kajunb is going to be playing it a little bit up close there towards TCOM. They throw the nades back in. Not a whole lot of connections going off over there onto the members of EnVyUS. Really only dodging off about 15 and 25 HP on Envy and Kenny. But now Cajun pushing it forward once again. They don't realize that Apex has found his way out, but dupreeh's quick on the reaction shot there. He's still able to shut down Apex, where he can make any forward momentum, and the rest of EnVyUS, again, they're stuck now. They're relying on an opening pick to get themselves out onto the site, but they're not going to be able to find it with the guns they have, nor the utility that they have to work with right now. They're just going to have to go for it, and that's not what EnVyUS want to work towards here, so they all just funnel their way out. kajunb and karrigan so far just shutting it down single-handedly. kajunb probably actually going to fall here, but actually I correct myself as dupreeh comes into party there too. Him and karrigan shut things down, and everybody from the side of ex-TSM staying alive once again. They right now have a perfect record here, 4-0, and for EnVyUS finally getting the gun investment here on the 5th round.
Yeah, which is massive, not losing any weapons. But I love the way that ex-TSM approached that round, realizing that EnVyUS in this kind of eco with upgraded Deagles, and that's about it. Playing super slow, stacking the smokes, not allowing them to get those one-taps into effect. The Deagle needs the vision, it needs to be able to see long range and just land the one-tap and then try and convert off that. So ex-TSM playing it to perfection so far. And again, look at this setup, it's a pretty aggressive one. A lot of information gathering. Both players up on the B side. Xyp9x and Device playing aggressive, going up ramp. I think that was a leg shot that just landed onto dupreeh. So he's down to 16. He has to tuck his tail between his legs and run away. Scamper away back to the side. The grenade lands on his face. Nearly drops to 3 HP. So low, but somehow still alive.
Now we can see from EnVyUS, they are going to follow this up with another kill that goes on over towards kajunb. Still trying to play things aggressive. That does not play out. Device, though, actually, if they relocate this pushback over here to the back B halls, Device could have some really serious impact, but they're still finding these frags over here onto the outside yard. So they may just continue forward with the original plan, which was to set up the default here, too. Kenny even just spotted another player, too, jumping outside of Z. So they know there's going to be at least one near the bomb train. Safe to assume there could be a second, too. But Xyp9x is moving out. They need to have coverage on Ivy, and he's going to be trying to cover it against NBK, who's now pushing out. The smoke doesn't cover the angle he wants it to at all, but he finds that entry anyway, shuts it down. And just like that, the entire CT side defense is just on Device.
You can hear the movement of Happy, who's about as graceful as a drunk elephant up those stairs. You can hear it from a mile away. Finally, he gets taken down. Device, though, has been spotted as well. So you expect that he's going to end up probably getting picked off here. That being said, though, actually, EnVyUS's economy is not great. So do they really want to throw away more weapons hunting for this final one for the CTs?
It seemed like rushing up and down the ladder, too, trying to mind game him a little bit, but nah, it doesn't work. Device knows. So now he's just sitting here inside of the White Halls, hoping he doesn't get boxed. But that might be likely in a moment, depending on how aggressive the player is sitting in TQM will get. Thankfully, they don't need to, because Keo has an angle lined up. As soon as Device peeks into the main area of the White Halls there, he's a dead man. And finally, now we see EnVyUS getting themselves onto the board. And this strategy of actually saving up for the 5th round actually works out great, because not only are they able to get like the full buy and everything, but Kenny gets the op with full utility too, which was a pretty big key to their success. Kenny actually got quite a few kills in that last round, just sitting in T-Con, where you actually normally have quite a bit of trouble. The problem is that now ex-TSM are probably going to be smoking and mauling this off, where they previously have sort of been leaving it open, because they would have an advantage in it either way.
Yeah, you can see that ex-TSM going for the full smokes in this round, everyone having a smoke. And in terms of hierarchy of grenades on train, smoke is definitely the most important on this map to secure off those positions, especially with the likes of Kenny S against him. Look at this, Happy just goes in, double entry for him. Oh, he's got a triple as well, why the hell not? He just explodes into this round, and ex-TSM, who didn't have a fantastic buy in this round, will be ecoing the next one. So fantastic work. They are going to lose Happy in the process. Xyp9x is there on connector. Looks on a second frag. Is going to keep this one interesting. Still a lot of time. He's on full HP as well. Problem is, there's a player coming up behind him, and that is going to be kioShiMa on the B side. And Xyp9x tries something crazy.
He's going to go directly into it. Actually, Kenny's going to miss the connection shot. Missing the second one, too, so Kenny does end up falling. Now it's the race to retrieve that op, and it looks like they should just be able to get it, so they save the money from that one. That goes back into the hands of Kenny. There's a little bit of a full buy here. Now the consistency keeps itself up for EnVyUS as they do chain 2 together, and it'll be enough to break ex-TSM. They'll be going on to a save, and similarly to our last map, we'll be getting very close to tying things up. We start up with a good lead for the CTs.
Yep, judging by the economy as well of ex-TSM, depending on how they want to approach this, they may even double eco. They may double tap out if they want to get the AWPs in play instead. It'll be interesting to see which way they progress forward here. As it comes to this round, though, it should be pretty much another day at the office as far as EnVy are concerned. As the P250 in play for Xyp9x, the only upgraded pistol that's still alive. But the USP actually connects from karrigan. And a second frag as well, so a couple terrorists are starting to fall. Finally, they get aggressive again. Xyp9x, though, has picked himself up the AK-47. kioShiMa's about to push his location. He did hear that little footstep there, as Kio's trying to fake this one. Shadow box his way.
Just playing with him there.
Oh.
Just trying to figure out exactly where he is so that he can waste enough time, and it works out great. So Keo shuts him down anyway on the peak.
You hate to see it though, man. That aim punch is brutal. He pretty much got Xyp9x killed there. If he has Kevlar, I'm pretty certain he had that frag. The aim punch, like, suddenly looking towards the sky almost.
People that are spamming about the overlay on the top, we have no control over that, so...
Yep, we're just casting boys and girls.
We are literally just casters. We have no power over the server at all, so...
It is 1-0 to ex-TSM.
Yes.
So that's incorrect. EnVyUS lost the first one.
The admins have been notified. We're just waiting on them to fix the server variable, because we have no control over it from GoTV, so... So to start off this round, TSM with their investment push forward. They actually shut down Kenny too. Kenny misses his shot, so dupreeh is able to get a response because they try for that stack. That's the problem, is EnVyUS tried the same things numerous times in a row, and they take risks due to that. So Kenny's going to get shut down because they tried the same thing twice, and that's a good response being found by dupreeh, and it shuts down the op at the beginning, who previously was pretty key to finding the first couple frags in the round. Apex is going to press out too, but Cajun has a good angle. Thankfully, the smoke is covering for Apex, so he's not going to reveal just as of yet, but as it fades away, thankfully Apex spots Cajun, so he's going to fall back and give him a little bit more respect here. And Cajun will not be able to pick up the frag due to that.
Thing is, so that even though EnVyUS do trail by a player, there is a distinct lack of utility on the side of ex-TSM now to try and fend off these pushes. Only a HE, and there was a smoke, but I think that's just been thrown from ex-TSM. Here comes Apex, getting a bit stuck on the ladder there. Very nearly got picked off for his troubles. karrigan is there. NBK answers back. dupreeh, though, right back in on the action. NBK lands the AWP shot onto kajunb, who was trying to push his left-hand side. And now that AWP could be absolutely instrumental in a potential 4th round, but it has been picked off. And that leaves kioShiMa with his AK-47, only 32 HP remaining. All that's left, and he is going to get picked off. So ex-TSM make sure that the equalizing round does not come in, and they keep their 2-round lead.
The movement there on the outside yard was actually really great from ex-TSM too. They do a fantastic job of keeping full control of the situation and just completely outflanking the members of EnVyUS. As soon as they didn't pick up that first frag, everything goes badly for the T side. So that's sort of been the key here. It was a very crucial thing on the last map too, was making sure they find that first frag and making sure as well that it doesn't get traded out. As long as they're able to accomplish that, the round, in my opinion, like 80% of the time is going to go by the way of ex-TSM.
That being said, though, for EnVyUS, they do still have the economy to get themselves an AWP and 4 AKs and play. This time it's going to be a much more aggressive round. You can see that really caught kajunb napping. So far, it's been pretty much slow, steady rounds for EnVyUS. The tag does come in onto kioShiMa, but it was a leg shot, I believe. He's down to 38, maybe slightly through the train as well. He's on E-box now, 3-on-3. As the Molotovs and the smokes are going to start to land. Force off connector. The Zipnex will relocate, bags himself to frag, 2-on-2 now. And our players behind the train. Zipnex gets picked up. No, it's not Zipnex, pardon me. It's karrigan. So Kenny S just goes massive. He has the HP advantage, but he's got the AWP. And he has got that bomb. So he'll scurry his way towards that B side and get this plant. Heavily favours EnVyUS. A difficult one for Zipnex to pick off. And with that smoke landing on connector, the CT side of connector, I think Zipnex now realises the situation at hand.
Kenny's going to have to connect on this first shot, though. Otherwise, things are going to get bad for him. Spots him coming from below, but he misses. So now he knows his location. And Zipnex could just try to play this as close as possible. He does have to be careful of peeking out from this yellow train here, but as he wraps it, he's not expecting to be up that close. Shuts him down, free out for the CT side, and still plenty of time to defuse that bomb.
I've got to say, that was so smart from Zipnex. For the reason that you mentioned, Blue, as soon as you miss that first AWP shot and you give your position away, Kenny S has to do something out of left field. He has to go for something aggressive. You can't afford to relocate at that stage. You get picked off as you got the ladders, for example, or through ramps. So he goes aggressive. Zipnex just holds fire. He's like, okay, I've got time, I've got a defuse kit. I don't have to rush this one. I can just allow Kenny S to effectively hang himself, put his own head in the noose. Very, very well played. Now double AWP setup for ex-TSM.
And EnVyUS are broke for the most part. They're just going to force it up and probably a direct take that works in towards one of these sites. Heading over towards ladder room now. That would actually be pretty surprising if like, they flush down ladder room, so it's more than likely just going to go towards back B halls and they keep coverage on ladder room in case someone tries to get aggressive. But ex-TSM are expecting this now too. They've gone away from just having a single man setup with one inside of Z. They've got both fully committed here, with Device having the AWP watching upper. So it's going to be a rough one if EnVyUS... I mean, they've got enough utility and whatnot, so it's not going to be like the worst story in the world, but with how blatant this is going to be of a push onto this site, that could be where the trouble pulls in if they don't try to fake this. They're not. They're going down the ramp right now. It's already connecting one kill with a nade, finding a second now. Looking for that third as they cross over towards the site, but so far Device has been somewhat absent. In comes Zipnex, though. Hello! Shutting down Kenny. He does get retreated to there as NBK is able to take him down from upper, but now they know where he is. Shot comes in from Device to shut him out. Cajun with the final one. A rushing Happy is stopped in his tracks. That's an easy cleanup there for the members of ex-TSM.
Oh, just Zipnex. I take a bow. That's almost the perfect defense over on the B side. He throws the Molotov, the HE afterwards, just past the smoke. So the T's at that point don't really know what they're getting themselves into. He did so much damage with that molly in the HE. Holds down left click, easy peasy for ex-TSM. And after that force bite, EnVyUS have really nothing to go with now, other than just the Eagles once more. But we've seen how ex-TSM play these kind of rounds, consistently throwing the smokes out, screening EnVyUS's approach. And as soon as they hear those Deagles, I'm expecting more of the same. Yeah, kajunb is going to throw it in. In fact, nope, his teammate throws the smoke in instead. And this is almost a carbon copy of, I think it was round number 4, where we saw almost identical setup from ex-TSM. And we saw that EnVyUS just couldn't get anything done.
karrigan picking up a first shot, seeing more. He spotted the bomb too. They know it's a default A setup. Trying to let up more op shots, but he's having trouble with it this time. Calls on the support of his teammate, but he burns alive. Oh no, dupreeh walks into the team's molly. He's gonna die due to that. Keo finding another kill. Thankfully, the rest of the team shuts things down without too much of a problem. But a little bit of a communicational error there with throwing the molly on the floor, and that is going to cause the death of karrigan.
Very unfortunate. I think I just read that kajunb's USP is called the Kenny S Killer Kappa, which is pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure I read that right, which is pretty apt for this game anyway, as ex-TSM have been storming away to an 8-3 lead. It was looking like it could get really close, but EnVyUS now, with the AKs and the AWP, are going to be split up. NBK, the only player who's heading towards Ivy, maybe just watching out for the information grabbing from ex-TSM, so he can bag himself that free frag. Two players again, playing pretty aggressively on the A side. It would appear that EnVyUS going to play this one slow and steady, going to try and allow Kenny S to open things up.
So Cajun playing that close corner just outside of T-Con, waiting for the press from Envy, but they're taking it so much slower this time, as they are going to try to keep the rotations in towards that B site, which so far is working. They still have the full two-player commitment from ex-TSM, and Cajun is going to fall back to get himself on top of Blue Train as he waits for the actual push to start. It's the default setup, though, from Envy. They're going straight forward with this again, and ex-TSM have shut this down at least 2 or 3 times now in this half. I'm sure they've attempted it many more, we just haven't caught on to it, but it's going to be a rough one. They don't manage to shut it down quickly enough. Karrigan waiting with the op now, just outside of Ivy. He's actually going to get smoked, so he has an angle, but he misses the first connection. Now the T-Con take starts as well here. kajunb trying to hold it back, but it holds the members in T-Con out for a little bit longer here too. dupreeh picking up that first kill, shuts down a player outside of ladder room, and then Cajun finding another one. They still have that battle towards Ivy, but as they press out towards that, Kenny finding the first 2 impact frags here, picking up both dupreeh and Cajun. Device is still alive and at large, and then Xyp9x finishing off the final one. The only take that actually goes successfully is the one out of T-Con, but he never even presses out from it, so everything else is shut down. Without any momentum being gained by EnVyUS there, those 2 kills from Kenny don't even matter.
It's going to be so depressing for EnVyUS as well, because they're trying different things now and again. As you say, they're going for these standard setups over and over again, but they've tried an aggressive push onto B. It got destroyed, dismantled by Xyp9x almost by himself. They've tried the fast T main pushes, which initially looked like it was going to be successful, but then ended up being fruitless as the retake came into fruition from ex-TSM. I feel the way that EnVyUS is going to get more rounds, though, is the aggression. I think these slow, steady rounds, they're not playing the way. You're seeing ex-TSM just pull themselves back. They've got this double up setup still in play. They can just land shots from seemingly everywhere. There's the early trade, though. That could definitely alleviate some pressure on EnVyUS here and allow them to get out onto the site, because it was kioShiMa who's on E-Box. Puts a lot of pressure now on kajunb. He relocates, but NBK then makes the most of that as the rotations came in, and now he's around the back of Ivy. This is a must-win round for EnVyUS. You can't afford to lose this.
There's going to be Xyp9x getting shut down on the bomb train way too low. Device gets spotted in heaven. There's nothing he's going to be able to do. Good take from EnVyUS, just pressing their way in nice and slowly. And that pace is enough in order to slowly whittle down the members of ex-TSM to a point where they just can't defend themselves any longer. So finally we have another round for EnVyUS coming onto the board here. Now it's about that consistency, because once again, their economy is going to be reset. They have a good buy going here, but if they're dropped again, they'll be forced onto their Tech 9 armor round, and they would probably have to go for an additional save after that if they don't just outright save on the first attempt here. But ex-TSM also looking very weak here too. They never even really built up that good of an economy, so we're going to see all these players very low. The opening peek from Kenny, legs dupreeh, brings it down to 16 HP, probably hit him through something, so it's not going to fully kill him, but it does start them off as a good damage. The trade onto Kenny is not that great, as he's only brought down to 65.
Again, there's a lack of grenades in play here for ex-TSM, so they had to go for the early aggression, which is exactly what Xyp9x did. Oh, Happy's there in the smoke. If dupreeh walks in, he's going to end up getting fragged, and there we go. I think the barrel of his gun maybe just slightly sticking out in the end, and Happy will convert that frag. Apex, meanwhile, makes short work of kajunb, and very much similar to the last round as well. As soon as they picked off the player on E-Box, it really makes things a lot easier to execute onto those sites, because it funnels in the terrorists, or the CTs, I should say, into a bottleneck situation. And then anyway, karrigan is still alive. He's got the open play, lands the second headshot. He's looking for more as well. Finally gets picked off. Oh man, I was getting flashbacks to Inferno when he nearly got that clutch.
His positioning was perfect too. Just missing that flick that kills him. If he had connected that flick and then followed it up with the second one, which would have been probably pretty probable, because that would have been a long range 1-versus-1 duel. That could have been an amazing clutch from him. Everything was correct about it. It's just that execution on that second flick was not the best it could have been. So with that being considered, we have the members of EnVyUS keeping things in their favor for the time being, looking likely to bring it up to a 9-6 half, but members of ex-TSM do get themselves with the Deagle, 5-7, and CZ investment behind armor, and oh, Xyp9x shuts down Keo at the beginning of the round. Great shot from him. More aggression coming out too. There's Cajun trying to line up a third kill now over here to Happy. They get some damage onto him. It's not going to be enough to take him down as of yet, but Xyp9x is now pushing the ladder, and player has to be careful. If he drops down into there, that can be problematic. As we see now, they're going in towards it. Happy's ready for this one. Kenny trying to strike back. EnVyUS has to play it very slow now, because they don't know what to expect out of these CTs anymore.
So awkward from Apex, switches to his Molotov and gets picked off. I was thinking, you know, maybe this is where ex-TSM break the hearts of EnVyUS once more and take another 10-5 lead at halftime. It's still a 3-on-3 though. You can see that dupreeh's landed the one tap, but I was about to mention that Zipnex is coming around the back right now. He's got the AK and the Kevlar, so the range punch is going to be in play for him today. Exactly. And it's an unaware rotation, and Kenny S has fallen down. It's all on NBK. We know he's capable of crazy clutches, crazy plays. Got 40 seconds. There's the first frag. He was tagged though down at 54. Spots the second player. Zipnex knows roughly where he is, but it's kajunb. And they come up the woodwork, and ex-TSM will take the 10-5 lead again.
And ex-TSM, that's the problem, is that's a very, very large lead. Even when you consider the CT-sidedness of this map, we're still looking at the same do-or-die scenario here for EnVyUS when it comes to this first pistol round here in the second half. Is if they don't pick it up, we probably aren't going to see a good amount of a response from them, considering how passively they play that T side with their economy, at least speaking in terms of that. So, if they don't pick up the pistol round here, more than likely, in my eyes, ex-TSM take the map, because EnVyUS are really only going to have one gun round to turn it around, and at that point as well, only 3 rounds for ex-TSM are needed to close it out. In this half, the rounds, it wasn't like a consistent 5 straight from EnVyUS. They were being traded back and forth throughout the course of it, but always going in the favor of ex-TSM. So if it was like a huge amount of one-sided plays coming out in this half, I would argue differently, but we haven't really seen that. It's been back and forth being traded just hugely in the favor of ex-TSM, and because of that, I feel more than likely, even if it continues to be a close battle, at the end of the day, ex-TSM are just going to hit 16 points before Envy can catch up.
I agree with you. I think this pistol round is absolutely vital for EnVyUS to keep in this. There we go. Finally, it has been fixed, and they can see that ex-TSM did pick up that first map. I think it was 16-10 in the end on Inferno.
That was fixed like 5 or 6 rounds ago, man. Where the hell have you been?
I'm obviously just dead in the brain. This cold, dude. I'm gonna blame the cold. I just sort of like switch around. It's like, okay, it's fixed, brilliant. But no, it was fixed a long time ago. I suck.
It's all right. You could just play it off. Be like, oh, I was too focused on casting the game. See, because I have to like do like 8 things at once. You just have to cast.
That's true.
I have to, like I can't even be lazy today and set on auto director. I actually have to control the camera because our auto director sucks.
Yeah, it just keeps looking at corpses, which is you know, for the morbid out of you, maybe you enjoy that, but personally, I want to see the action. But I know how it feels, bro. Streaming and casting and stuff. It's a bit weird at times, for sure.
And then you have to look at Twitch chat as well, because it's like, if there is any legitimate problem with the stream, that thing's gonna get spammed up the wazoo. It's like, oh, alright, I'll fix it, calm down.
I normally love watching Twitch chat, but today, the amount of spoilers is ridiculous. I just turned it off, like the first time.
It's already been spoiled for me, man. There's nothing else.
I'm actually salty.
I am livid about it. I am pissed off.
Understandable.
Like, that angers me.
Is that part of me though that wants to believe that people are like trolling, spoiling, so like they're saying stuff that actually hasn't happened? I want to believe in my own little world, you know, away from the spoilers. But I know it's not true. I know that the entire movie's been spoiled for me. I'm just gonna go and cry in a corner now.
It's all good. I was talking to Pitt about it last night. Basically, there's only 2 people that are spamming those spoilers. One are subhuman scum, and the others are those that have a bedtime that's too early and doesn't allow them to go to a midnight premiere tonight. So, at least I can take confidence in the fact that I could actually go see it this evening. The others have to do their math homework.
Damn. Savage.
Thanks, man.
Don't piss Blue off today alone.
Are we live yet? No? Okay.
Nope.
Still waiting.
I'm not sure what's going on, though. Seems the scores have been reset and all that good stuff, so hopefully we'll be ready to jump live again. For those of you just joining us, it is 1-0 to ex-TSM. They won Inferno 16-10, and they currently lead on this map 10-5. And we discussed this before, the pistol round is absolutely essential for EnVyUS. If they lose, you're looking at maybe in the 13-5 deficit, and from there on out, it's going to have to be flawless T-sides. CT sides, I should say. And then we've already mentioned this as well, they're force buying like quite consistently on CT sides. They like to go for those CZ buy-ups, they like to go for the P250s, and when you're already like a bunch of rounds behind, and we saw this on Inferno, you really can't afford to throw out those force buys as often, because it can pretty much lose you the game.
Yeah, it's all going to be about, I mean, like, the reason we sell those force buys from EnVyUS there on the second half of our first map is just because, again, they were sort of in a forced situation where they absolutely have to because they're so far behind. If they can pick up that pistol round, that, again, that sort of, I'm trying to think of the word to use here, that sort of, I can't think of a word. The urgency, there we go, the urgency of the need to just buy up and have a good amount of an arsenal to go against your opponents is not going to be as prevalent if they do manage to get themselves up to 8 rounds here by picking up the pistol. But if it goes the other direction, then you're going to be absolutely right. They will be in a situation where they have to force things up consistently, and if those go wrong, then they're just going to get shut down way too early in the half, and we'll be looking at a 2-0 from ex-TSM and no EnVyUS at the LAN.
Here we go, though, live into the second half. There's ex-TSM looking to aggress over on the B side. The one player who is trying to sell fake potentially has been picked off, though. That's going to be karrigan. And meanwhile, here comes the onslaught. dupreeh's going to land himself the shot onto NBK. 3 players extremely low from the CTs. Make that just the 2 as the jumping shot from dupreeh lands. He's now got his focus well and truly on Kenny as he gets picked off. It's a 2-on-3. And now this is really anybody's round. The bomb has been planted, though. Zipnex is going to be looking for those P250 headshots. Kenny S peeks in, gets the frag, and now it's all on device. First frag comes in, looking for the second one as well, but he's not going to get it done. EnVyUS will get the defuse and bring us back to 10-6. The question now for ex-TSM, do you just want to save up for those AK-47s?
Yeah, they're officially back in this game now, essentially. Oh, happy. That's unfortunate.
That's awkward.
He missed the ladder.
Right.
Thankfully, that happens on pistol, where I think the most thing he has there is, like, his armor. I don't even know if he had armor, to be honest, so he might have just not lost anything, but...
I think I had a defuse kit. That was pretty much it.
Alright, so $400, not the biggest deal in the world. But it looks like the members of ex-TSM are going to be saving here, and they'll just go for the 3rd round buy-up. But for this one, not expecting anything super crazy. Probably just going to go straight forward with the take. Actually, it looks like they're setting up for a default, but I don't expect that to work out too well.
Yeah, 4 P250s with a flashbang. Could potentially land the headshot onto Happy and take him straight down. No head armor for him. Well, of course, close range, it's not going to make any difference. But that being said, the early flirtatious exchanges between the two teams is going to tag a few players down. Nobody's dead just yet. karrigan looking for that one tap onto Apex, who's moving. He's been dinked. He's going to have to relocate behind the site now. 11 HP left on him. Kenny S now stands up to the plate. He's in heaven and will just rain down with 3 frags, leaving device all by his lonesome, forever alone, and he has been picked off. So EnVyUS get the clear-cut round as expected, but here come the AK-47s. Yep,
and this is going to be the big test now, because they are playing this aggressively. They still have that little bit of a cushion, so they want to try to keep this lead as aggressively as possible, because they know EnVyUS. This is another thing, too, that I didn't really bring up all that much. EnVyUS rely a lot on momentum to really get themselves back into a game and maintain a lead. We saw this at the LAN last week. You could sort of see this too just by looking at the expressions on their faces. Obviously, we can't see this right now in an online match, but I imagine it carries over to a certain degree. When EnVyUS are behind, it really affects them in a very negative pattern. But if they can start to get the lead and they can keep it consistent going like for 3, 4, 5 rounds in a row, then they continuously get better and better and better. That's the key for EnVyUS. And by ex-TSM going for this aggressive buy here, if they can shut that down before EnVyUS get the ball rolling too quickly, then they could immediately strike right back and maintain their lead. But that's going to be a nice aggressive amount of movement there from Kenny, and he shuts down cajunb device nowhere near the position that he needs to react in, so Kenny's going to be able to get away with that one for free.
Yeah, avenging frag, such a huge part of the T side. Unfortunately, not able to pull a trigger there. The bomb is dropped down towards the T spawn, but meanwhile, the action is still ensuing as Happy has picked himself up a frag, so this is a great hold so far for EnVyUS, just what they were looking for. And although the bomb has been picked up and both remaining ex-TSM players are high in HP, they only have 1 smoke between them. And 4 players to find and frag, all of which are pretty healthy themselves. It's not impossible, but it's highly improbable they'll get this done. If they push towards that B side, they are going to meet NBK's FAMAS. And no one else just yet, but of course the position from Happy can quickly wrap himself through connector and get close as well. 30 seconds left, they're going to have to pull a trigger soon here, Blue.
They're moving into it now, but EnVyUS, they've read this. They're starting to rotate back in. They've already got 2 here. A 3rd is close by, sitting just outside of Z. Another one should be able to rotate in from CT here, too. They're going to go forward with it, but it just got smoked off. So the fact they're still going for this is actually quite surprising, because they know that this has to be watched. And they have no utility to get through this right now. I would honestly save, because they're not in a position to hunt them down if they do end up going for a save. But they go for it anyway. They will actually be able to sneak through with the plant, so they get the bonus money from that at the very least out of this round. But the retake going to come in so quickly. Zipix trying to hold things off, picking up 1, but Happy rolls back in there with the USP to trade it out. And EnVyUS do, as pretty much we expected, shut things down and pick up an 8th round.
Yeah, very impressive play from ex-TSM, using the smoke that EnVyUS threw and then using their 1 flashbang to make sure that connector defender was flashed, so they could scamper out and get that bomb planted. So I think if they don't have that flash, they're absolutely safe in that position there, Blue, because they had it. They thought, okay, we can pull a trigger and try and get this bomb plant, and who knows, maybe we can go for broke and actually take some weapons away from EnVyUS. They go for a half buy here, which will afford them AKs next round as well, and putting a little bit more utility than I was originally expecting. So with 5 smokes, the set play is imminent here. Let's see which site they're going to decide to go on. It looks like it is going to be an A play. So Smoke's going to land around Connector on the trains as well. You're going to see a Tech 9 rush afterwards.
Start things off. A lot of players outside of TCon now. Just going to go directly in for that outside yard. But EnVyUS, again, they're ready for this one. They're holding out for it right now. The smokes are going to come in. I think EnVyUS are just going to get aggressive about it, though. No smoke in the short lane, so Apex can just push right up against that and try to shut these guys down. There's one for him. Looking for a second now. Cajun does get the response, but there's been a nade connected onto these guys. And it's done so much damage, so now it's just sweeping up the remainders here. They bring it down to a 2 versus 3. Device might be able to flank, but he's found out even some team damage to going on to dupreeh over there. So Zipex, he actually gets the bomb down, so they'll have that for themselves at the least. And they get 3 kills, so bar and by, it's not that bad of a round, but ultimately, again, EnVyUS will be picking things up, and they're now just one more away from tying things.
Yeah, pretty solid round overall from ex-TSM. I said originally that they went for the half-buys, they had AKs regardless, but the fact they got the bomb plant and some kills afforded them a couple of AWPs, full grenades as well, by and large of them on kajunb, and they took some weapons away from EnVyUS, but as you can see, EnVyUS aren't exactly broke themselves. They have a lot of money to play with, so we're going to have 4 AWPs in play here on train. It'll be very interesting to see how this round plays out. Both the AWPers will be maneuvering themselves towards the B side. They could still come down Pop Dog and make things interesting, but for now, it looks like we're going to have those turrets set in place.
So, out comes Zipex now, going for a very quick take outside of upper. It doesn't pay off very well. NBK finds the response. dupreeh's going to fall back because of this one too, so they'll go down inside a ladder room. Just going to go for a quick take here, but I believe Device did it just end up flashing himself, or if not Device, karrigan. Kenny, in the meantime, shuts down Device as he attempts to work his way out of TCon. They still actually suspect it's going to come towards the inside yard, so they're not fully committing to A as of yet, but those that are here aren't having trouble at all holding it off. Cajun hoping to maybe pick up an op shot over on towards Keo, but not going to be finding it. It doesn't look like he wants to peek it. And the final 3 here from ex-TSM, looking for a miracle. Cajun misses his opportunity to find that shot over on towards Keo. And now he's just got to push in towards Ivy. They've spotted him. They know he's here. Apex shuts down the bomb carrier. One more outside Ivy. Bit of an awkward exchange. But Keo's going to shut him down, and then dupreeh follows suit. He's taken out by Happy. And there we have it. A ball game, a team ace as well for Envy, as they now will be tying things up here at 10 rounds.
Yeah, Team Ace, keeping both those AWPs in play, taking both the AWPs away from ex-TSM. Because of their round loss bonus, they are able to afford 3 AKs with upgraded pistols as well, and the Kevlar. So they're still going to be coming thick and fast right now, or ex-TSM, but the issue is that they have been completely shut up. That is 5 rounds back-to-back for EnVyUS, including a couple of rifle rounds. So they have been starting dominantly, and as you said, the momentum in their favor. Kenny S, you know, one of the best AWPers in the world, is quite an emotional player. I think he'd be the first person to admit that's quite down on himself when he doesn't perform. So, again, that just kind of highlights what you were saying before. So the fact they have got these 5 rounds, they're going to be feeling good right now, Blue. They're going to be feeling like nothing can beat them.
But something can beat them, and that's the key here. Is that they see him pick up the round, and that immediately stops itself. So they're going to press their way out. It's aggressive movement from EnVyUS to counteract it, though. Happy and Kenny shutting things down with this out. Kenny again, dupreeh pushing forward so much, though, and he doesn't even realize what's happening because he presses up, gets 1 kill, and then immediately the ops just shot him from behind. So kajunb, he does have the op in his hands now. They picked that up off of the dead body of Kenny, but Happy still has his, and they're all on that bomb train. So as soon as kajunb peeks up on the orange train, he will probably be a dead man. And we're just waiting for him to do it right now. He's taking it back, hoping he can catch one of these guys getting more aggressive. But he's going to miss the connection, and now Happy's just waiting for him up there in heaven, too. So there we go. Not even needed. Keo doing a nice job shutting things down. And now we have Envy taking the lead here on trade against ex-TSM.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time we've seen EnVyUS take the lead on train. I think they've been behind up until this point.
This is the first time I think they've had the lead in general this entire set.
Yep. Absolutely.
They might have had it for like the first couple of rounds on Inferno, but this is the first time they've had the lead like consistently.
Yep.
In the later portion of the map.
So let's see if ex-TSM can bounce back from this deficit now. This round is going to be, again, just pistols, half-buys they can afford. Next one, Apex is there, playing aggressively. Here comes the push, though. The Deagle lands through the smoke on kioShiMa, who gets spanked there, but still his team is holding down just fine without him. Kenny S with 2 frags, 2 Device now with a Deagle of his own. Can't get it done close range. Kenny S with another 3-man, and EnVyUS take a 2-round lead, as kioShiMa says, nice shot. That was ridiculous. It was through smoke, 1 tap, get wrecked, son.
So, Kenny's turned on at this point. just shutting things down. He's consistently picking up like 2Ks or 3Ks almost every single round, so he's going absolutely crazy. They consistently have this double op setup too, and beyond this, considering the fact that they have to rebuy it, like beyond that factor, we're still looking at a lot of money stacked up on the members of EnVyUS, so this is getting to a very dangerous situation for ex-TSM. And one player that again has surprised me here is kioShiMa is doing a fantastic job, but we can talk more about this in a second because the aggressive push is coming. Kenny stuck on the bomb train, the smoke comes in, they're just going to go for the planet scenario, but they already find that opening frag here too. karrigan able to pick up Kenny, but then two more responded back by both Kio and Apex. Now NBK working his way back in for the retake as Xyp9x and Device finding two, coming right up into his face. There's NBK with one, chains it into a second onto Device. Just going to be karrigan left alive. He's stuck up in heaven, but they have no clue he's there. There's the one tap, and now dropping back down, he gets himself into a duel with NBK. No bomb control, unfortunately, and NBK is going to retreat, assuming that this is going to get wrapped towards B, but he's got no idea that the bomb was even down over there in the short lane, so karrigan's going to pick this up. And honestly, where's karrigan going right now? He might actually be wrapping to B to begin with, so he might have just gotten mind gamed by NBK.
karrigan. Okay, how are you going to play this one right now? He did put a couple of shots down range there over the back of the trains towards the CT side. He's going to go for that plant now. The problem is, from a CT's perspective, retaking A, there's so many angles, there's so many places to cover from, so it's an absolute nightmare. The good news is, full utility with the defuse kit, and NBK needs to use all of those. He needs to probably smoke out one side, try and play the mind games right now, maybe even fake the defuse and force karrigan out of his hiding position. Oh, karrigan's given his position away, though. And NBK is going to tickle the site, he's going to try and bait this one out for karrigan, who goes looking as well. He's going to stick on the site right now. NBK is going to be just trying to bait this one. He gets headshotted down from karrigan. A much-needed round from ex-TSM, but my goodness, karrigan nearly threw that one away.
Free op for the T's as well, so they're going to pick that up. That'll get thrown over towards Device, who, to be honest, look at the scoreline here for ex-TSM right now. We have not seen a whole lot of him in this map at all. He was a very, very crucial component to the success of ex-TSM back on Inferno, but here on Train, we just haven't been seeing anything from him at all. It's either been it's been him and Xyp9x recently that are like the two interchangeable top fraggers for ex-TSM. It's either been one's on and the other's off, or vice versa. Because so far, we're not really seeing Device do that great of a job, as he just has not been able to impact here, especially on this T side, unfortunately.
And the other issue as well for ex-TSM is like EnVyUS can buy up next round as well, regardless of what happens here. Now, it looks like EnVyUS starting the best possible way with two quick fire frags. The bomb is moving its way onto the B side. There's Xyp9x though, and Device as well. And that's huge kills that are landing for ex-TSM. It may not be enough. Look at this one. Apex wraps himself through the smoke, catches Xyp9x off guard. At least the bomb was planted. The kajunb now somehow gets that kill before falling. And now it's on that man Device. First frag lands, a 1 versus 1. kioShiMa picks him off. Oh my goodness, that is massive for EnVyUS and a crippling body blow for Device.
The trades go back and forth again, but it goes into the favor of EnVyUS. They recover the big guns. They've got this in play. Plenty of cash for the rebuy anyway. So they're now looking good. And for the guys on ex-TSM, it's a reset time. They are going to try and force it up here to a certain degree, it looks like, on a couple of their players. dupreeh has to go for the... dupreeh can go, I should say, for the armor buy behind it. We've got a couple more deagles into the picture here, but for the most part, it's just going to be P250s. ex-TSM are going to be looking very light this time as they save up to challenge it in the final round. And kioShiMa, now with enough cash to do it. We see the auto sniper coming into the play now. And he's going to position himself in the short lane, watching out for the TQM push. And oh no! You are dead, Kio. Thankfully, Kenny finds a response, but then there's dupreeh with another Wandig, taking down Kenny, pushing out. Appy finds the trade onto that one. 3 left alive, but they do retrieve the op, and there's Device with another Wandig. Takes him down. Happy still trading with that op, picking up an additional kill, finding one with a pistol, down to a 1 versus 1, but kajunb does the same thing, dropping Happy. Now he's just gonna find NBK. He's sitting over here in the mid tunnel, brings him down to 22 HP, but trying to hit him, lights him up. kajunb's at 1 HP. NBK trying to push out now to find that one little tap that's needed to finish him up, but no! kajunb, he's gonna do it with 1 HP and clutches it out in a huge round. ex-TSM are right back in this now, 1 more away from tying it up.
Oh my goodness, that round was ridiculous. And look at EnVyUS' economy as well, Blue. Not only is that a clutch out of nowhere, but now this forces EnVyUS into a position where they have to just save up. They have to pretty much tap out of this round. It was looking like it was going to go the way of the dodo for ex-TSM. It was looking like we were going to have the 1-1, and now suddenly they're right back in this game. They should be tying it up at 13 apiece.
Oh my god, this is so close right now. And then there's Device. He finds an opening gambit shot once again. The members of EnVyUS, they're still trying to play that aggressive CT side despite the fact that they have nothing to account for this right now. Only Device is sitting here at TCon. However, he doesn't account for the fact that Kenny's just going to run right on top of the first train there to shut him down. karrigan finds that trade as Kenny tries to push in. The op bait was real there, as he wanted to try and pick that one up, but that's not going to be plausible. As karrigan takes him down, they find the trade. The CT's losing control of this round very quickly. Xyp9x finding another one to take out NBK. Now just going to be 2 left alive from the side of EnVyUS. They both have to split the defenses too, so for ex-TSM, they basically have their pick of the litter. They can go wherever the hell they want.
Absolutely. And EnVyUS now have to pray to the Deagle gods, as ex-TSM had a blessing last round, as both of the last two players have a Deagle in their hands. The bomb's going to get planted now. kioShiMa waiting for his teammate to get into position right now. Doesn't want to push through by himself. Maybe watching for that boost as well up onto the connector box. But ex-TSM, they just hold their positions. This is easy for them. At 13 apiece. We talked before about the momentum and the confidence that EnVyUS needs to really progress forward. And after losing around like that from the 1Ds and that 1 versus 1 clutch with 1 HP remaining, that's got to hurt. That's got to sting for them. Happy has spotted himself a player. He's being tagged down, and well, there's nowhere near enough time now. That diffuse kit. ex-TSM are going to draw this back up at 13 each.
Another player from ex-TSM survives the round with 1 HP again. Oh, I correct that. He actually does. A little bit too close.
The curse is real.
The caster's curse, man. I thought that was clear of it. That definitely looked like it was clear. I guess a little piece of shrapnel just made its way through the building and pegged him in the kneecap or something to take him down. So, it's tied up. EnVyUS losing that momentum, and that's such a key word when it comes to EnVyUS now. They are able to get another bye, but it has to be successful here, otherwise we could be looking at the map victory from ex-TSM, because they're going to be broken once again. They'll have to save, and then that'll put ex-TSM on match point.
No defuse kit as well for EnVyUS, and ex-TSM, even when they've been losing rounds, they've been pretty consistently getting bombs down, or at least getting close to it. So EnVyUS now may be forced to go a bit more aggressive, look for a bit of information through Ivy from kioShiMa potentially with his M4. But for right now, they're holding their nerve. They're going to be playing pretty much standard, pretty much passive, what you expect. ex-TSM have a lot of time to play with still, though. And they are trying to feel out each area of the map, setting up for a potential execute onto A. 2 players up there. Be throwing down their smokes onto connector. Could also be a fake as well. We haven't seen a great deal of fakes from ex-TSM, but we know that they're capable of doing it here on trade. So the smokes have landed, but the bomb is yet to push in just yet. But here we go. It's going to be a 3-pronged attack. The encirclement trying to wrap themselves round the CTs, and EnVyUS can't deal with this one right now. Device has picked up the first frag. Heaven on Kenny S. He has to drop down. He can't see anything, but that's into the embracing arms of karrigan, and it's gone horribly wrong for EnVyUS. Happy's the only player to answer back, but it's still a 2-on-4 with the bomb planted.
He's going to get naded. NBK trying to wrap in, but they're saving now. They've already made the call. They're pulling away. This is the round that's going to go by the way of ex-TSM. They're going to lose this lead, and this has got to be so heartbreaking for Envy now to come so close, even getting the lead back against your opponents, and then they forge right back in against your favor, and now they have the lead. EnVyUS are going to be broken in this next round. They might just actually force up again. I'm not exactly sure how much of a losing bonus they're on at this point. I think it's 3, maybe 4 rounds, but they might just have to try and force it up because I think they want to play for the win. I don't think they want to take this to OT.
If they save these weapons, I think they will force up. But if they'd lost both of them, they'd have had a decision to make. But let's have a look. What's their economy looking like? Oh, it's not quite as high as I was expecting, yeah.
That's going to be a really unwise choice if the other 3 force up. But
they go for the force. It's EnVyUS, man. You can't count them out of force rounds. And they are pretty much putting all their eggs in this basket right now. This is potentially their last lifeline. They lose this round. They'll be 15-13 with no economy to play with. ex-TSM, you look at the difference in terms of equipment value. It is astronomically in favor of ex-TSM. Like, they should be picking this one up, but never count EnVyUS out. That's going to hurt them, though.
There's dupreeh already picking up a first kill, too. Drops Apex. Thankfully, it's not one of the rifles, but still not a good prospect for the rest of this round. And we can see, too, karrigan pressing forward. Kenny trying to get aggressive. Kio did find 1 frag, but that's so far the only thing they've been able to get. It's NBK and Kio as the last 2. They're trying to smoke and molly off any angle they can, but Kio himself is going to get mollied out in a big battle versus 2. Connects the first one to shut down Device. Trying to line up that second one, and he can't do it. The problem is going to be here, NBK in a 1 versus 3. He just used all of his utility. They already know he's inside of Z. It's just a matter of shutting him down. He's going to pick up that first kill. Bomb just now going down. He could jump up against this, but he's being fired through that smoke. Now trying to find kajunb. Not going to be able to connect it just as of yet. So he falls back, playing this very, very slowly right now. But dupreeh slowly sneaking up on his right side. He's noticed it, but it's too late. kajunb shuts it down. And now we have ex-TSM on match point again. And a broken EnVyUS.
Absolutely broken. They're going to be able to rummage together an AWP that's going to be a glass cannon, a few FAMASs as well with a 5.7, but this is not great whatsoever as expected. It's bottom of the bargain bucket kind of stuff right now for EnVyUS. Are they going to play aggressively as a result of this? Are they going to try some super aggro strat to force in the face of ex-TSM? 4 players starting off on the A side. One going to go towards Pop Dog, and meanwhile NBK playing the aggressive angle on B, but look at this from ex-TSM. It looks like they're going to be stacking over that B side. They're going to play it in Pop Dog right now. kioShiMa will break the deadlock here in the first round as karrigan will be momentarily silenced. Maybe He's not going to be required anymore, though, if ex-TSM can pick up this round. But a great start for EnVyUS.
They're holding it back for now on the side of ex-TSM, not committing to it as of yet. Trying to investigate the back B hulls here, too. Xyp9x investigating it. Trying to see if he can find a route, or at the very least, draw some rotations towards that B site. So far, not looking like it's going to be working. Actually, I correct myself. Kenny does start to move inside of Z, and then they find an entry, too. So that's a great pickup here for ex-TSM. They traded it back, but Cajun and Device have taken a lot of hits from this one, too. NBK, not necessarily in the best position himself. He's down at 45 HP, and he's got to be very cautious of watching for this, because look at Xyp9x. He's pushed all the way through lower. Nobody's been watching this. He's got a great angle. He even knows NBK is here. So if he can get himself into Z, then that's a nice little pinch there. He's killed it. Now they're going to think it could potentially be coming in towards that B site that they found a kill this far up. And in comes the rotation. This is great for the members of ex-TSM. But Kenny finds something else to play in the other direction here now. But then there's Xyp9x again, finding another kill, shutting down Happy. Kenny trying to rotate back in. They still don't realize that Xyp9x is sitting behind them right now. Kenny trying to correct it, but it's too late. He's got the better position. It's all on Keo now to try and clutch this out in a 1 versus 3. Trying to find his way in, but it's not going to happen. dupreeh gets the final kill of it. And that's going to be the end of it, guys. 2-0 in the favor of ex-TSM. And the final map score is going to be 16-13.
Man, that clutch. That clutch was 1 HP on kajunb. I think that broke the back of EnVyUS. I think that was the moment where this game went well and truly into ex-TSM's hands. You could feel they weren't as confident afterwards. They went for that forced buy in the 28th round. It just didn't pay off for them. And the better team won today. But my goodness, Train was a lot closer than I was expecting it to be. Especially after that 10-5 lead. I thought ex-TSM could just walk away with it.
So that is going to close things out here, guys, for the online portion of the StarLadder StarSeries. I believe the Chinese portion is done, too. I think they actually have their LAN finals this weekend, so I'm not exactly sure where that's going to be streamed if you would like to watch that. But they will also get one spot in the real LAN finals in Minsk in a little over a month. That will be decided this weekend at their finals in Shanghai. But for the European portion, this is done. Team EnVyUS will not be at the LAN. This does mean that ex-TSM are going to the LAN. And for North America, unfortunately, things in North America kind of got screwed over a little bit because of the timing of the minor. With that, a lot of the North American teams did have to end up dropping out of it. And I think the 2 North American teams that are going to that LAN right now that may end up changing are Method and Luminosity Gaming. Those will probably be the 2 North American teams there. But Method may end up changing because they are also a team which could qualify for the minor. And I think beyond that, we are about done for the day. Anything you would like to add before we close, Metas?
Pleasure as always. It'd be very interesting to see how ex-TSM do at the actual finals themselves, and commiserations to EnVyUS. I think it's kind of a shame they won't be going, but, you know, as I said, the better team won today.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is going to be it, guys. Thank you all very much for tuning in. If you'd like to follow either myself or Metas on Twitter, it is right on your screen right now in the front. I'll probably link them as well before we go if you don't feel like typing them into your address bar. But beyond that, we're done for today. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next time here at the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14. Actually, we won't see you next time. We're done, so we'll see you later.